I feel so important. Hi everyone, welcome to the Play Sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from Radio Row, Super Bowl 2023. I am Ben Solak. This is the first in-person Play Sheet. The opening script, the one personnel grouping that matters most. Okay, so there's like 10 million matchups in this game that we can talk about, which is really cool. There's like Patrick Mahomes against the Eagles pass rush. There's AJ Brown, the Eagles receiver, against all the press coverage he's going to face. There's Jalen Hurts, his ability to run the football against a Steve Spagnuolo defense that loves to blitz the quarterback. There's a lot that goes into a matchup this good. We are not going to talk about any of that. We're going to talk about the one most underappreciated star in this entire game. The one dude, the fulcrum on whom this entire matchup rests. And that is Jody Fortson. In all seriousness, Jody Fortson and his teammate Noah Gray are two of the most important players in this game, even if you don't really know who they are. They're tight end 2 and tight end 3 for the Chiefs, the non-Travis Kelce tight ends. And while they may not feel important, the Chiefs' multiple tight end sets, that is the sets that have guys like Jody Fortson and Noah Gray on the field, these have been the most dangerous sets in all of football. Check this out. No particular personnel grouping in the league this year has been more effective by EPA per play than the Chiefs' 13 personnel. 13 is 1 running back, 3 tight ends. Now this is like kind of a noisy stat because the Chiefs' offense is just the best by EPA per play, so it's a little bit double counting. Like you can see the Chiefs' 11 personnel is 3rd on this list. But in particular against the Eagles, for this matchup, multiple tight end sets are really important. You see, the Chiefs are running quite a bit of 13 personnel this year. They're 3rd in the league in their 13 personnel rate, and that's only about 10% of their plays, but that's still significant. And if you just look at like multiple tight end sets, so all formations that have at least 2 or 3 tight ends, they're at 40%. That's 6th in the league, way up from last year when they were only at 27%. Now here's why that matters. The Philadelphia Eagles this year have actually been like good against multiple tight end sets, at least from like a play-by-play, game-by-game perspective. But as Ted Nguyen wrote for The Athletic, in the games in which they've been bad this year defensively, they've particularly struggled against multiple tight end sets. Now, I want to widen our scope. We said that the Chiefs have played a lot of 13 personnel, 3 tight ends this year. Last year, they didn't do it as much, but there was one game in the 2021 season where they used a lot of 13 personnel. I will give you one guess who their opponent was. So, why did the Chiefs run so much 13 personnel, an outlier for them last season against the Eagles? And what does that mean for this 2022 game? You know the line. Time for play action. Okay, 2021 Eagles-Chiefs. Chiefs are in 13 personnel. The most important thing to start with for 13 personnel is that it's run personnel. It's 3 tight ends, they're blockers. This is heavy personnel to run the ball. And so the Chiefs will do that. They're going to go under center, motion the tight end, and they get to this little bunch, right? And the bunch is nice. It gives you angles to close down on those defensive ends. Eagles only have 4 down defensive linemen and 2 linebackers. So you're going to toss the ball to the outside and try to force corners to make a play, force a safety to make a play. It's a 5-6 yard run. It doesn't feel important, but it is. It's important because of what you can do off of the run action later in the game. It's the same motion. It's the same bunch set. We're going to fake the handoff and then flip it, reverse to Mecole Hardman. Look at the alleyway that we get here. Eagles defensive line bit down. The linebackers didn't recognize in time. Hardman's off to the races, got all the blockers in the world, and good pursuit, but still, explosive run. Now, you've given run action, right? Straight handoff. You've given a counter off the run action. You run the reverse, you get an explosive. Time to go play action pass. Same look, right? Same motion. We're gonna bring Jody Fortson across. We're gonna snap the ball. This is play action pass. What they're gonna do is they're gonna run just Travis Kelce on the bender, right? And the idea here is very simple. If these linebackers bite down and you get a window, Kelce's gonna settle pretty much anywhere that window opens up. This is why he and Mahomes are like really irritating and also godly, is because this route can develop pretty much anywhere. Tyreek Hill's at the bottom of the screen, and Tyreek Hill's not on the 2022 Chiefs. So he's on these 2021 Chiefs. He's with Darius Slay. He's gonna get an inside release, and then he's also just gonna settle down into a void. And because of the run action, because of the heavy personnel, the Eagles defense ends up confused as to who's going where in their zone coverage. You're gonna see TJ Edwards buzzes out with the back. You're gonna see Jannard Avery kind of floats here in the middle. A big window opens up for Tyreek Hill. So this is the advantage of just the play action pass. Doesn't matter if you're in 13 personnel, 11 personnel, whatever. The play action pass is beneficial because of how it stresses out a defense. So run fake. We see the linebacker scramble to find room. Eagles do a nice job getting guys on Kelce. But the miscommunication on Tyreek Hill means there's a big window. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Okay, explosive pass to Tyreek Hill, go ahead and tackle him, but nobody can tackle him because he's Tyreek freaking Hill, and he ends up getting tackled just inside of the 1. So, this is the build-up, right? This is the ladder we get out of 13 personnel for the Chiefs. It's heavy personnel, so they want to run the football, but they can also run outside the boundary. They can run those reverses, right? They can get you with misdirection, and they can also hit you with the play-action pass. But in 2021, the personnel was a lot different, right? We saw Tyreek Hill score a touchdown on a tackle that was missed by Anthony Harris and Rodney McLeod with a player like Jannard Avery in zone coverage. None of those dudes are on the Eagles anymore. Teron Jackson was a defensive end who bit down way too hard on the Mecole Hardman reverse. That's Hassan Reddick now. The personnel has evened out a lot between the Eagles and the Chiefs. The Eagles have stepped up their game. And so even if the Chiefs were to walk out and do like the same John they did in the 2021 game, it would still be relatively even scales because the Eagles are just a lot better in terms of personnel defensively. But the issue isn't just personnel. It's also scheme. And scheme is what we talk about in the play sheet, and scheme is what matters here. Check again on this play action pass. You'll notice the Eagles are in a 5-down front, right? They have 5 down defensive linemen, and accordingly, they only have 6 players who are traditionally coverage players, right? Linebackers and secondary players. Previously, they'd been in a 4-down front, right? 4 down defensive linemen on the Mecole Hardman reverse, 4 down defensive linemen on the little toss to the running back. When you have these 5 down defensive linemen, you have 2 options. One is to rush all of them, right? All of these guys are meant to be pass rushers, and so in the event of a pass, all 5 have to come. But that only leaves you with 6 in coverage, which can leave you liable. If you want to drop the 7th, if you want to get him into coverage, well, he's got to be a defensive end. In this case, Ryan Kerrigan or Jannard Avery. Avery ends up being the guy who drops, and there's a chance that Avery gets into the window for Tyreek Hill if he's a much better player, but in reality, a defensive end never is going to make that play. This is why the Chiefs' 13 personnel is so important. It's because when you're in 11 personnel, you're in pass personnel, 3 receivers. But when you're in 3 tight end personnel, 13 personnel, you are in run personnel. And accordingly, the play action fake becomes that much more dangerous. It's that much more scary. And the front that defenses give the Chiefs when they put this set on the field can dictate whether the Chiefs run or pass and how effective that looks. This dichotomy between 5 down fronts and 4 down fronts is, I can't say it's the most important thing in this game because there's like 19,000 most important things, but it's really, really, really important. This is now 2022. This is when the Chiefs really started to lean into their multiple tight end sets. Broncos give them a 5 down front, so what are we gonna do? Play action pass, and we're gonna try to stretch this defense out. Only 6 in coverage. We wanna put big horizontal stretch, big vertical stretch, try to find large windows in the passing game. Exactly what happens. Play action fake, Mahomes to the top of his drop. We got 1 tight end working this way. We're gonna have Blake Bell sitting down. We're gonna have Travis Kelce working out here. Look at the stretch, look at the stress, how wide this looks and how few bodies the Broncos have to handle it. The window for Mahomes, enormous. And it doesn't matter that he's throwing to Blake Bell, who's like tight end 4 because Jody Fortson wasn't even playing in this game. Look at the size of the window. That's as easy as it gets for a Mahomes passing game. And then to me, this is critical. This is like the most important part, which sounds dumb because it's not Mahomes throwing the football, which is like definitely the most important part, but still, the Chiefs invested in the offensive line. Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, Joe Thuney, Orlando Brown. They got a back in Jerick McKinnon who they like, a back in Isaiah Pacheco who they like. They can legitimately, earnestly run the football. And so if you want to cheese them, if you see a 3 tight end set, Mahomes under center, and you go 4 down defensive linemen with 2 linebackers, if you think you can go light personnel against this and say we are not going to lose to the pass, the Chiefs say, okay, we really actually think we can run it. We haven't been able to do it in seasons previous, but this year we can do it. We can run the dang ball. And that's what you get. Look at the double team here. Right tackle and right guard into the defensive tackle. They're just going to wash this out on zone. Jerick McKinnon with the easiest cutback of his life. It's a 14-yard gain. Against the Chiefs, you always play pass, right? You always say, put bodies in coverage, get as many light bodies on the field as we can. Deep to intermediate, we had to take away the pass. And the Chiefs said, fine, we're putting 3 tight ends on the field. And if you really believe that, if you really think you can play with that light of personnel, we can run the football. They are more balanced than they were previously. They are more multifarious, multifaceted. They're more versatile. They have more in their bag than they did previously. And that is very scary. Now, I kind of lied to you a little bit. I said this was about Jody Fortson, and it is. Noah Gray, and it is. But the real reason why, out of all the matchups we could have previewed here on the play sheet, Mahomes and Hurts and Brown and Kelce, the real reason I wanted to go after this one is because it does matter for Mahomes. It does matter for that Eagles pass rush. Everybody, when they talk about this game, talks about the Eagles pass rush being so good that it might be able to beat Mahomes, hassle him so much the offense can't work, like the Bucs Super Bowl for the 2020 season, right? Well, when the Eagles bring those 5 down fronts onto the field, they're putting a nose tackle on the field, usually Jordan Davis or Linval Joseph. They take the coverage player off the field and they bring the extra defensive tackle onto the field. That matters for the Eagles pass rush because on early downs, right, first and second down, your base downs, they might run it and they might pass it. On those early downs, the Eagles' pressure rate in 5-man fronts drops from 38% to 30%. They become one of the scariest, most dangerous pass rushing groups to about middle of the pack. And that's not because like Linval Joseph and Jordan Davis are really, really bad at pass rushing. It's because the responsibilities of the defensive line in that 5-down front change, right? It's more about run defense. And because they're separated out wider and because there's tight ends chipping them, it's just harder to pressure. So if you're the Chiefs and you're trying to figure out, hey, how do we slow down this pass rush? We're worried about Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat and Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. What do we do? You put tight ends on the field. It'll help you chip. It'll make their path to the quarterback longer, but also critically, it'll force that nose tackle onto the field. It'll force the Eagles into 5-down sets, make them think about defending the run first. It'll take some of the wind out of the sails of that pass rush. And if the Chiefs are gonna win this game, that's their number one objective. That's the thing that they have to do. So I can't tell you which matchup is going to define this game and who wins it. If Patrick Mahomes decides to be unstoppable, the Chiefs win. If Jalen Hurts decides to be unstoppable, the Eagles win. There's too many stars. A.J. Brown, Hassan Reddick, Travis Kelce. This is a loaded game. It should be. It's the Super Bowl. But here at the play sheet, we care about the little stuff. We care about the scheme stuff. We like the little moves on the chessboard that have huge ramifications for the outcome of the game. And in this one, that little move on the chessboard is Jody Fortson and Noah Gray. It's Linval Joseph and Jordan Davis for the Eagles. It's the Chiefs putting heavy personnel on the field. It's the Eagles matching that with their defensive line. And it's the Chiefs finding ways to hit those play action passes. This is the chess match of Super Bowl 57. This is what we're watching for here at the play sheet. And that is it for us here at Radio Row, the play sheet, first inaugural Super Bowl play sheet, I hope. Welcome to seeing the back of my laptop for the first time ever. I got a lav mic now, so I don't even have the stand thing. We're leveling up in this John. So subscribe, because we're doing off-season stuff, and like the videos and share the videos with your friends, and then go to your Super Bowl parties and point out Jody Fortson and be like, he's really important, and then bore your friends, and it'll be good. Thank you so much for watching all season. We love you.